Hi, this is Conrad from MotorMonitor. I'm just sitting in the car here with the MotorMonitor ready to set it up and use it. I've followed the install guide, so welcome to MotorMonitor, the system that monitors, analyzes, protects, and potentially shuts down your engine if needed. So the very first thing you do when you receive the MotorMonitor after installing it would be to reset it, which resets it to default standard values. And then you'd probably perhaps would want to modify some of the things that are there. So the four temperatures are shown on the home screen. So there's T1, 2, 3 and 4, and you might want to modify the names of them there to make it the water pump or whatever you've used for your naming convention. I'll leave mine as it is. I've got two harnesses installed here, so or the extended harness rather. So it has 4 temperatures, which yours may not. And the rest is pretty self-explanatory. There's a radiator for the level. That could also be changed if you wish to a different name. So you might want to change that to, I don't know what, overflow tank. And you can see the red light has come up here now because the oil pressure, which is on number 1, is 0 because the engine's not running, which is okay for now. And the alarm signal has come up here as well because the oil pressure is low. Now, the home screen has been redeveloped here. We've taken advice of customers who said that they'd like to see more information. So the very first one there has 4 temps with a number there on the right, which just tells you which temperature that is. So that's temp number 1, it's 47.9 Celsius. And, this is number 2, 39.2, and it's the radiator. So this cycles through each temperature in turn. So you don't have to stop in the car. You can simply see an overview without having to touch any buttons, provided you wait, of course. Which we think is probably a better solution because it gives you the name as well. And similarly for the level, there's only one level there, so that's why the 1 stays. The voltage, there's only 1 voltage. Now, for example, the temperature, back again. So, and then the oil pressure is similar, and the controls. There's 5 controls here. You might want to change the name of that to be battery main, or battery auxiliary, etc. So it just gives you the option there. Now the controls can also be configured to do shutdown, but we'll go through that in a separate video. So for now, I'm just going to try and give you a quick overview of using each of the things. Now number 2, if you wanted to turn the battery on and off, for example, you can just off and on. It's as simple as that. So that's on and that's off, and the control changes immediately. So if it's a relay driving a fridge or a second battery connection, that's done from here, done from the MotorMonitor. Now, what else is there? Battery, overflow, radiator, etc. Temperature, for example. When you get the MotorMonitor, it will be set with a maximum limit of 70 degrees C, which is a bit low. And the minimum temperature is -10 because here in Australia, we're not worried about freezing, so that's not a problem. But you will have to edit these because these will alert or alarm depending upon where you've installed them on the engine. Mine, for example, is on the radiator, that very first one. So I'll have to edit that over time. And this is where MotorMonitor learns and adapts, is that you can edit that limit to a higher limit if you want, say 77, or if it's really, really on top of the rocket cover or the engine bolt, you might have to go to 100 before it alerts. But for me, for now, because it's on the radiator, I'll leave it at 80, or 85, and go from there. But in this way, you can set each of these temperatures to a maximum limit that you're comfortable with for your vehicle, for where it's located. For a gearbox, for example, you might be quite happy at 67 degrees. Whereas on the radiator or the rocket cover head bolt, you'd want it a lot higher than that. So yeah, just going back to this oil, if I was to start the engine, it should remember all those values that we've set. for each of those items, like the names of the temperatures and as you can see there, the oil number 1 has come back at 10.6 volts. It's no longer alerting. I've pushed the wrong button there, oil. So it's 11, and we've got a maximum of 30 and a minimum of 1. So that's all good. So if you install the system, for example, and you didn't get to connect the overflow level, for example, because you've got a pressurized tank and you're going to get round to that later, MotorMonitor will alert and alarm you and annoy you, drive you nuts. So what you can do is just disconnect it. That's not connected now. So it will no longer alert. Now just turn the engine off. Over time, it will come up with an oil pressure alarm, and similarly I could disconnect that one as well. You can see level 1 has now come up as not connected, so you as the driver know that number 1's not connected, which isn't an ideal situation, but it reminds you to install it without alerting you and driving you mad unnecessarily. Yeah, and that's about it. I'll just wait for that oil pressure light to come up and close the video. Thank you very much for listening to MotorMonitor and the engine protection system that does many things from the one little box, and we wish you well. So that's the oil pressure just come up now. It's on 0 volts and it's just taken 15 seconds or so to alert. Thank you for your time.